Welcome to Mindful Objective, the podcast where we uncover the root causes of health concerns and explore holistic solutions to help you make informed choices about your well-being. I'm Dr. Daniel Sproul, integrative health practitioner and professor, and on today's episode 6, we're discussing food additives and food labels, what they are, how they affect your health, and how to navigate ingredient lists to make smarter food choices. At Mindful Objective, we believe in looking at the complete picture, understanding what's in your food, how it interacts with your body, and how to make empowered decisions for a healthier life. A quick medical disclaimer, this podcast is for informational, educational purposes only. We do not diagnose, cure, or treat any illness or disease. Now let's get started. Food additives and preservatives have become an unavoidable part of a modern diet. They are found in nearly everything, from packaged snacks to frozen meals, condiments, and even some foods marketed as healthy. While these substances serve as functional purpose in food manufacturing, they are associated with unwanted effects on the body. From an integrative health perspective, we focus on these substances, how they interact with biological systems. The goal is not to diagnose, treat, or cure a disease, but empower individuals with knowledge so they can make more informed choices that support overall well-being. So many additives can influence your gut health, metabolic function, immune response, and even hormone balance. By understanding their role in the food and in their potential impact on your body, you can take steps toward a cleaner and more nourishing diet. So what are these food additives and why are they used? Well, food additives fall in several categories based on their purpose. Preservatives, these prevent spoilage by inhibiting bacteria and mold growth. Artificial colors improve food visual appeal. Flavor enhancers intensify taste and aroma. Emulsifiers and thickeners, these maintain textures to prevent separation. Then we have artificial sweeteners. These are added sweetness without sugar. While the FDA regulates these substances and deems them safe at approved levels, some individuals prefer to limit synthetic additives based on personal dietary preferences or sensitivities. So not everyone reacts the same way to food additives. Some people report digestive discomfort, skin reactions, and food sensitivities, while others consume them without issue. Some potential concerns from these additives would be digestive health. Some emulsifiers and artificial sweeteners may influence gut bacteria balance. Metabolism and cravings. Certain additives like high-fructose corn syrup may impact appetite regulation. Immune function. Some preservatives are being studied for their role in inflammatory responses and processes. Then you have hormone balance. Certain compounds such as BHA, BHT have been researched for potential endocrine disrupting effects. It's important to note that the FDA evaluates additives for safety, but ongoing research continues to examine their long-term effects on gut health and metabolic function. So big thing is, how do we reduce exposure? If you prefer a cleaner approach to eating, here are a few ways to minimize additive intake. Read ingredients list carefully. Fewer ingredients often mean fewer additives. Opt for whole food, unprocessed foods whenever possible. Look for natural alternatives. Many brands now use vinegar, lemon juice, and rosemary extract instead of artificial preservatives. Choose organic when possible to reduce exposure to synthetic additives. So understanding why food additives are used and where they are found is key to making informed dietary choices. While some additives are harmless, others may be worth reducing or avoiding depending on individual health concerns. So for a healthy food shopping list, visit mindfulobjective.com/resources. Again, that's mindfulobjective.com/resources, and the link will be in the show notes. So when it comes to food additives, not all are created equal. While some serve as practical purpose with minimal impact on the body, others are widely debated for their potential effects on long-term well-being. From an integrative health perspective, it's just not about avoiding bad ingredients, but making informed choices supporting your body's natural functions. So by understanding which additives are most concerning and where they are commonly found, you can take steps to reduce your exposure and choose cleaner alternatives that align with your wellness goals. So let's review some controversial food additives and their potential impact. So we have artificial colors. So artificial food dyes are widely used in processed snacks, beverages, baked goods, and even some vitamins and medications. These synthetic colorants are derived from petroleum and are added purely for visual appeal. So it's not for nutrition, not for flavor. So most common ones are red number 40. This is used in sodas, cereals, candies, and sports drinks. Yellow number 5 and yellow number 6. These are found in chips, cheeses, and desserts. Blue number 1 and blue number 2. These are added to ice creams, frostings, and candy coatings. So again, while artificial colors are FDA approved, some studies suggest they may contribute to hypersensitivity reactions in certain individuals. Reports have linked food dyes and behavioral changes, skin reactions, and digestive discomfort in the sensitive population. So instead of artificial dyes, look for food colored with natural sources like beet powder. This would be for the red color. Turmeric would be for yellow. Then you have spirulina, which would be green. Carrot juice would be orange. And brands that use natural flavors often label them clearly, making it easier to find cleaner alternatives. Another one would be high-fructose corn syrup. This is a proteinous sweetener to watch out for. So high-fructose corn syrup is highly processed sweetener derived from corn. It's commonly found in sodas and sweetened drinks, processed snacks and breakfast cereals, condiments like ketchup and barbecue sauce. So unlike natural sugars, it's rapidly absorbed and may contribute to metabolic imbalances in some individuals. A diet high in processed sugars can impact energy levels and cravings. So what you should do is opt for natural sweeteners in moderation, such as raw honey, maple syrup, monk fruit, coconut sugar. So check labels for no added sugar or nor naturally sweetened. These options can help reduce overall intake of processed sugar. Another one is monosodium glutamate, which is MSG. This is a flavor enhancer. MSG can be found in fast food and takeout meals, canned soups and broth, processed snack foods. While it's classified as safe, some individuals report sensitivity reactions such as headaches, dizziness, and digestive discomfort. It could also overstimulate certain nerve cells, potentially leading to temporary discomfort in sensitive individuals. So if you want to avoid MSG, look for nutritional yeast from a natural umami flavor, homemade bone broth instead of MSG-laden soup bases, fresh herbs and spices to enhance taste naturally. Then we also have sodium nitrates and nitrites. These are found in processed meats. These are preservatives used in cured meats such as bacon and sausage, hot dogs, deli meats. So when exposed to high heat, nitrates can form nitrosamines, which have been studied for their potential long-term effects. Many health-conscious consumers choose to limit processed meats due to their concerns. So what you want to look out for is nitrate-free, uncured meats, freshly prepared proteins like grilled chicken or fish, plant-based protein sources such as lentils or chickpeas. So there are brands that offer nitrate-free and uncured options. These are typically used preservatives like celery powder. Another one we have is artificial sweeteners. So artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin are marketed as alternatives in diet sodas, sugar-free gum and mints, and also packaged in low-calorie foods. While they contain fewer calories than sugar, artificial sweeteners can still impact cravings and digestion. Some studies suggest they might alter gut bacteria, which plays a role in overall health. Instead of artificial sweeteners, try stevia, monk fruit, dates for natural sweetness in recipes. So many natural sweeteners offer a gentler impact on metabolism while still satisfying your sweet tooth. Then another one is emulsifiers and thickeners, and these play a role in your digestion. These are used in processed foods to improve texture and prevent separation. Some common ones include carrageenan. This is used in dairy-free milks, ice creams, and processed meats. Polysorbates are found in creamy dressings and sauces. Some research suggests that excessive consumption of certain emulsifiers may influence gut bacteria balance in sensitive individuals. Since gut health is closely tied to digestion and immune function, you may choose to reduce these additives wherever possible. So for a cleaner diet, look for or you utilize homemade almond or oat milk without additive thickeners, natural yogurt instead of processed puddings or custards, dressings made with olive oil or vinegar rather than emulsified sauces. So how do we reduce our exposure? Avoiding every single food additives isn't always realistic, but small steps can make a big difference. Here's what you could do today is read ingredient lists. Again, shorter the better. Choose whole unprocessed foods whenever possible. Look for brands that use natural preservatives instead of synthetic ones. Prioritize homemade meals over heavily processed convenience foods. So being aware of what's in your food, you empower yourself to make choices that align with your personal wellness goals. You don't have to cut out every food additive, but by understanding what's in your food, you can make more informed choices. Now, in this next segment, we're going to discuss food labels and how to spot hidden additives. So the food industry has mastered the art of marketing, making it easier for consumers to feel like they're making healthy choices, when in reality, many packaged foods still contain hidden additives, preservatives, and unwanted ingredients. Buzzwords like natural, low-fat, and sugar-free may seem appealing, but they do not always mean the product is truly clean or beneficial for long-term wellness. So from an integrative health perspective, the goal isn't just about avoiding specific ingredients. It's about empowering you to make informed and intentional choices. Learning to read food labels effectively is one of the most powerful ways to take control of your nutrition and reduce exposure to unnecessary chemicals. So now let's break it down step by step. Start with the ingredient list. Less is more. So the ingredient list is one of the most valuable sections of a food label. It tells you exactly what's in the product, and the order of the ingredients matters. The first few items make up the bulk of what you're eating. So look for short ingredient list with recognizable whole food ingredients, real unprocessed foods like nuts, seeds, grains, and whole spices, organic or non-GMO ingredients when possible. What you want to watch out for is long ingredient lists filled with chemical names. Ingredients ending with ate, so ATE, ITE, or OSE often indicate preservatives, artificial colors, or sugars. Again, that's ATE, ITE, or OSE. So in familiar terms, if you wouldn't use it in your kitchen, consider you don't want it in your body. A good rule of thumb, if the ingredient sounds like it belongs in a chemistry lab instead of the kitchen, it's best to eliminate it or avoid it. Just limit your amount of you're having. So also you want to identify hidden sugars, not just sugar. So sugar goes by many names, and food companies often use multiple forms to disguise how much is in the product. Even items labeled as healthy can contain high amounts of added sugar. Some common hidden sugars are high-fructose corn syrup, cane juice or cane syrup, maltodextrin, dextrose, agave nectar. So what to watch out for? Any product where sugar or one of its aliases is listed as the top 3 ingredients. Low fat or fat-free foods. These often compensate with added sugars. Flavored yogurts, granola bars, or cereals which contain more sugar than expected. So alternative, choose naturally sweetened options with fruit, raw honey, or dates. Look for no added sugar on labels, though still check for hidden sweeteners. Opt for whole foods like fresh fruit over processed snacks for natural sweetness. So by becoming more aware of hidden sugars, you can make choices that better support your balanced energy levels and overall well-being. So we also want to be aware of natural flavors and vague terms. Natural flavors might sound harmless, but they contain highly processed, containing dozens of chemical compounds extracted from various sources. So what's the issue? Companies don't have to disclose exactly what's in them. What you want to watch out for is natural flavors, which can still be chemically altered. Artificial flavors, this is synthetic additives with no transparency. Spices or seasoning without specifics. This can include MSG or preservatives. So what you want to do is choose products with real herbs and spices listed, such as cinnamon, vanilla extract, paprika. When in doubt, opt for whole, unprocessed versions of foods. If the product contains natural flavors but does not specify what they are, it may be worth looking for a more transparent brand. So understanding the nutrition facts panel, you want to do quality over quantity. While calories, fat, and carbohydrates are often focused on food labels, nutrient quality matters more than just numbers. Here's how to make more sense on the key components. So serving size, always check the serving size. Many products appear low in calories or sugar, but also they may actually contain multiple servings per package. Fats, look for healthy fats from sources like olive oil, avocado, nuts, and seeds. Avoid hydrogenated oils or trans fats, often listed as partially hydrogenated oils. Protein and fiber. High protein and fiber content can help satiety and digestion. Whole food sources like nuts, beans, grass-fed meat are best. Sodium content. Processed foods are often contain excessive sodium. Look for lower sodium options, especially in canned goods and snack foods. While focusing on whole food ingredients rather than macronutrient numbers, you'll make more nourishing choices overall. And again, don't fall for buzzwords. This is a marketing trick. So food companies use clever labeling tactics to make processed products appear healthier than they are. Some of the most leading claims include natural. This is no strict regulation and can still include preservatives and additives. Fat-free and low-fat are often loaded with extra sugar and artificial ingredients. Gluten-free, just because something says it's gluten-free doesn't mean it's healthy. It could still be highly processed. Keto, paleo, and plant-based, always check the ingredient lists as these foods still contain unhealthy additives. So an alternative, instead of relying on the front label claims, turn the package around and check the ingredient list and nutrition facts. If the product contains recognizable whole food ingredients, it's a better option. So a takeaway from this is mastering food labels doesn't have to be overwhelming. Once you know what to look for, it becomes second nature. Here are a few quick tips on making healthier choices in the grocery store. Start with fresh, whole foods. The fewer processed products you need, it's easier to avoid additives. Read the ingredient list first. This tells you more than the front label ever will. Limit added sugars and artificial ingredients. The more real food, the better. Choose minimally processed alternatives. Opt for simple, recognizable ingredients. So just by taking a little extra time to analyze food labels, you'll gain confidence in selecting foods that nourish your body and align with your wellness goals. So now let's go in the next segment where we'll discuss the grocery shopping strategies from choosing organic to navigating tricky product claims. This will help make clean eating even easier. So when you are in a grocery store, you want to shop the perimeter first. This is fresh foods versus processed aisles. Choose organic whenever possible, especially from dairy, meats, and the Dirty Dozen product list. Buy whole foods and cook from scratch to avoid hidden additives. And use apps like Yuka. There's also EWG's food scores. You can use this to scan labels for cleaner options. So now getting more into it, navigating the grocery store can feel overwhelming, especially when every aisle is filled with packaged foods boasting healthy claims like natural, heart healthy, and low fat. Even with a solid understanding of food labels, it can be tricky to determine what's truly nourishing versus what's clever marketing. From an integrative health perspective, grocery list is more than just filling your cart. It's about making intentional choices that are best for your well-being. Stocking your kitchen with clean, whole foods reduces reliance on processed products and helps create an environment where healthy eating feels effortless. So by following a few smart shopping strategies, you can cut through the noise, avoid hidden additives, and fill your home with foods that nourish your body naturally. So again, shop the perimeter for whole foods. The way the grocery stores are laid out are not by accident. The healthiest, least processed foods, fresh produce, meats, dairy, and whole grains are usually located around the outer edges of the store. Meanwhile, the center aisles mostly contain processed packaged foods, which are loaded with preservatives, refined sugars, and artificial ingredients. So a good strategy is focus on fresh, whole foods like fruit, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats. Spend most of your time in the produce, meat, and dairy sections. Use the center aisle selectively for pantry staples like dried beans, quinoa, nuts, and seeds. So by sticking to whole single ingredient foods as much as possible, again, fresh fruit, meats, you naturally reduce exposure to unnecessary additives. So another thing to do is choose organic when it matters. But buying everything organic isn't always realistic, especially when considering budget constraints. However, prioritizing organic for certain foods can reduce exposure to pesticides, synthetic fertilizers, and antibiotics that are commonly found in conventional produced food. So the dirty dozen. Some may know this, some may not. Certain fruits and vegetables carry higher pesticide residuals than others. The dirty dozen, compiled by the Environmental Working Group, which is EWG, lists the most contaminated produce based on annual testing. So when possible, choose organic version of these items to minimize exposure. Again, based on preference, if you can't buy these organic, I would not buy these. So the dirty dozen is strawberries, spinach, kale, grapes, apples, bell peppers, cherries, peaches, pears, celery, tomatoes, potatoes. For produce with thick skin or peel, such as avocados, bananas, and pineapples, buying conventional is generally a lower risk option since pesticides are less likely to penetrate the inner fruit. But again, if you could go for organic, still go for organic. But if organic isn't available, wash produce thoroughly with baking soda rinse to help remove pesticides. Now on to organic meat. What is the better choice? Just like produce, the quantity of meat you buy matters. Conventional meats often come from animals raised with antibiotics, hormones, and grain-based diets that may contain pesticide residuals. Choosing organic, pasture-raised, or grass-fed meats can help ensure better nutrition and fewer unwanted additives in your food. So why is it a smarter choice? There's no added antibiotics or growth hormones. Conventional meats may contain residuals from antibiotics and synthetic hormones, which some research suggests could affect hormone balance and antibiotic resistance in humans. Higher quality feed. Organic animals are fed an organic, non-GMO diet free of pesticides and herbicides. It's also better for animal welfare. Organic livestock must be given access to outdoors, allowing for more natural movement and healthier conditions. It's also more nutritious. Studies show organic and pasture-raised meats may have higher level of omega-3 fatty acids and antioxidants compared to conventional raised meats. Now on to organic chicken and turkey and what to look out for. Poultry is one of the most widely consumed meats, but conventionally raised chicken and turkey often come from factory farms where birds are given antibiotics and raised in crowded conditions. If possible, choose organic chicken and turkey. These are raised without antibiotics on a certified organic diet and given access to the outdoors. Then you have pastured-raised poultry. These birds are allowed to forage naturally, leading to higher omega-3 content and better overall quality. Then you also have aired grilled chicken. Unlike conventional poultry, which is often processed in chlorinated water, aired chilled chicken is cooled using cold air, preserving flavor and reducing contamination and general overall risks. Now on to red meat options. So this is kind of important to understand too. You have grass-fed versus grass-finished versus grain-finished. So people want to know what's the difference. So you may have noticed these different labels on shopping for beef, such as grass-fed, grass-finished and grain-finished. Understanding these terms can help you make a better overall choice based on your health and budget. So grass-fed, this means the animal was raised on grass for at least part of its life, but may have been finished on grain before slaughter. While grass-fed beef has more omega-3 fatty acids and higher antioxidants than conventional beef, It's important to check if it's also grass finished, and that's more in the next one here. So grass finished is the best choice. Grass finished means that the animal ate only grass for its entire life, no grains at any point. The beef is most nutrient dense, containing higher levels of omega-3, vitamin E, and antioxidants. So look for labels that specify that say 100% grass-fed and grass-finished. Then you have grain-finished. This is conventional beef. Grain-finished cows start on grass but are fattened up on grains, usually corn and soy, before they're slaughtered by increasing marbling. That's the fat content. While it makes beef softer and more tender, it also reduces omega-3 content, increases inflammatory omega-6 fats. Grain finishing is common in conventional feedlot operations, which is also used with antibiotics and hormones. So what should you buy? The best choice is grass finished. This is organic beef. A good choice is grass fed, as long as it's from a quality source. And okay in moderation would be grain finished. But you should still opt for organic to avoid hormones and antibiotics. So if grass finish isn't available, choose organic meat. It's still a better option than conventional raised meat and ensures higher animal welfare standards and reduces exposures to hormones and antibiotics. So again, you want to read label on health foods. So even when shopping seamlessly for healthier foods like granola, yogurt, protein bars, and it's essential to still read food labels. Many so-called healthy products still contain hidden sugars, artificial flavors, and unhealthy fats. So when you look for health foods, you want to simply look for whole food ingredients, nuts, seeds, whole grains, real fruit. Minimal added sugars, opt for unsweetened or naturally sweetened versions. Also no artificial colors and preservatives. What you want to avoid is low-fat and fat-free options, natural flavors that do not specify a source, and sugar-free products that contain artificial sweeteners. When it comes to protein sources, again, protein is a critical part of balanced diet, not all created equally, such as processed meats like deli cuts, sausages, and pre-cooked frozen options. These all contain preservatives, nitrates, and artificial flavoring. A better choice would be fresh, unprocessed meats like grass-fed, pasture-raised chicken, and wild-caught fish. Legumes and beans are plant-based protein sources. You want to also look for raw nuts and seeds instead of flavored or coated varieties. So if you're purchasing packaged meat, look for nitrate-free or uncured options. Also, a healthy way is you want to look for healthy fats and oils. Oils are a staple of cooking, but many are refined in vegetable oils like canola, soybean, and corn oil. These are highly processed and can contribute to inflammation when consumed regularly. So best cooking oils would be extra virgin olive oil, cold press, and unrefined. Avocado oil, this is great for high heat cooking. Coconut oil for occasional use, especially in baking. Grass-fed butter or ghee, rich is fat soluble. It has high fat soluble nutrients. What to avoid? Hydrogenated oils found in margarine and processed baked goods. Highly refined seed oils. To avoid canola, soybean, cottonseed. Again, when purchasing oil, look for cold press and unrefined options. You'll get the most nutrients. So for those that, it makes it easier on your shopping, makes it easier on, making meals, look for buying in bulk. So eating clean doesn't have to be expensive. Many whole foods like grains, nuts, seeds, and legumes are often available in bulk bins at health food stores and can be more affordable than prepackaged versions. So smart bulk purchase options would be quinoa, brown rice, lentils, beans, raw nuts and seeds. Whole spices, buying in bulk is often fresher and cheaper. So you want to store these in airtight glass jars at home. This helps keep them fresh and accessible for meal prep. So another good thing to do is meal planning before you go shopping. One of the best ways to avoid impulse buys and unnecessary processed foods is to have a plan before going to the shopping store. So some simple meal planning tips. Make a shopping list based on whole, real ingredients for the week. Batch cook staples like grains, beans, and proteins to reduce reliance on convenience foods, such as fast food or snacks. Keep a few healthy snacks on hand, nuts, homemade energy bites, fresh fruit. This will avoid you reaching for processed options. When you shop, propose, come up with a plan. It's easier to stick to nourishing choices and avoid falling for unhealthy temptations when you plan stuff out ahead. What are we going to cook for the week? What do we want to eat? Let's write it all down before we go to the store. So again, the grocery store doesn't have to be overwhelming. By following these key strategies, you'll be able to shop smarter, often avoid hidden additives, and stock your kitchen with clean, whole food ingredients that support your health. Again, you want to shop the perimeter to focus on fresh, whole foods. Prioritize organic for high pesticide produce. Read ingredient labels. Shorter lists is usually better. Opt for healthy fats and avoid processed seed oils. Buy in bulk to save money. Plan meals in advance to make healthier eating choices. So again, by making small, intentional changes on how you shop, you'll set yourself up better for long-term success. So now let us review some listener questions. Listener question and answers. Are food additives always bad, or are some okay to eat? So not all food additives are harmful. Many help keep food fresh, safe, and tasty. Some, like vitamin C or citric acid, are naturally commonly found in fruits. Others, like artificial colors and certain preservatives, may be needed for health to avoid it in some people with sensitivities. It's really a personal choice, but checking an ingredient list can help you decide what you're comfortable with eating. So how do experts decide if food additives is safe? Well, scientists study food additives carefully before they're allowed in food. They test how much people can safely eat and check for any possible side effects on health. So if research raises concerns, experts can review and update safety guidelines. Listener question 3, can artificial colors affect kid behavior? Well, some studies suggest that certain artificial colors may cause sensitivity to some children, especially those who are already prone to hyperactivity. Not all kids are affected, but if you're